Hello and welcome to Read the Last Page,
A book club
YAP session
with your two favorite long-distance best friends. I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm your host, B. And how are you doing today, Dan?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. The weather is so nice right now. I feel like, what is it in New York? Are you guys having a dip in heat?
It's been in the 70s a little bit, kind of the 80s. Like last week it was like a lot of 90s, so it's cooled down quite a bit actually. Like I was wearing short sleeves this morning and I was outside and I wasn't like cold, but I wasn't like hot. And I have been hot, so
yeah, exactly.
I was just like comfortable.
Yeah, so like the high right now is I think like 80, which to me I'm like, oh my gosh, we could really start dressing.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like sweater. No, I'm just kidding. But I went outside today to actually like go for a walk and it was like 64 degrees or something. I was like, this is
that's nice.
So nice. Yeah, it was really great. But yeah. Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm good too. I'm really tired. I've I don't know. Ever since Kelly was here, I was kind of sad when she left.
Yeah.
And I just like haven't been as busy because we're not doing stuff every day. And I just like stay up. I've been watching the Olympics, like the women's gymnastics. And so it's like when I get home from work at 9:30, then it's like, okay, I need to take a shower and everything, get into bed. And then it's like maybe 10:30 or 11 and I'm like, well, time to watch Simone Biles for 2 hours.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I just like haven't been like going to bed at a good time, so I need to start doing that. But
yeah, I love the Olympics because to me, watching people in like organized group activities or like team sports, makes me like, it gives me the same rush as One Direction or like, like I just love seeing people excited to be doing hard things together,
It's teamwork, like the teamwork.
Yes, it makes me so excited. So super happy for all of our girls on the U.S. gymnastics team.
Yeah,
they're slaying.
They're so good.
They're so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just realized that I forgot to put any rings on. I feel so like exposed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, my hands are never just like plain. Because so for the YouTube watchers, I'm wearing this shirt that Danielle got me and must have been like 2018, 2019.
2018, I think. Yeah. That's
when
crazy.
Whenever one of these movies came out with Kylo Ren, and anyways, I have a red ring and a blue ring that I was gonna wear to match, but it's okay.
Just pretend. Like everyone close your eyes and imagine it.
Yeah. The red one is garnet and the blue one is chalcedony.
Oh, cool.
Anyways,
yeah.
If anyone cares.
Girl, have you... So speaking of Star Wars real quick, I really want to veer off.
I'd love to.
Have you heard of the show The Acolyte? It's a new Star Wars show on Disney+.
I'm not sure that I've heard of that. I don't really recognize it.
Okay, so it's, like I said, it's a new Star Wars show on Disney+. But Amanda Stenberg, Rue from The Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah,
She's the main character. She kind of, like, plays, like, Lindsay Lohan based role, like, in The Parent Trap. Like, she plays twins, which is so exciting. But also, so the reason why I watched it, me and my roommate Haley, like, binged it, was because we were promised it was gonna be, like, Reylo, but like kind of done like with the intention of hopefully there being a romance between them, because like Reylo, I feel like low-key, I don't want to offend any Reylo fans out there, but it feels like it was just kind of like put together for the fans' sake at the very last minute.
I don't ship them romantically.
Yeah. Well, I love the idea of it. I just don't think I really love.
It doesn't make sense.
Sure. Well, yeah. I need to see. This is the thing, though. I need to rewatch.
In my opinion,
I need to rewatch the trilogy and figure out my like current day opinions on Reylo, because like I love the concept of like the vibes they're giving, but I don't know if I like the execution of it. Anyway, in The Acolyte, though, I told my roommate Haley, who we're like fans of that specific trope. We're like, maybe we should watch that. Guess who's in that show and plays a very, very hot character? Jason Mendoza from The Good Place. It's like Manny Jacinto.
Which character is that?
Jason from like Florida. He's the dumb one.
Is he the one that is with that beautiful woman with long hair?
Janet or Tahani?
No. Yeah.
So he's with Janet, but at the beginning of the show, he's with Tahani. Like they're fake soulmates, but really his real soulmate is Janet.
Is he the one that like pretends to take a vow of silence?
Yeah.
Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Wait, I thought this was gonna be like so like we're gonna be on the same page. Like,
well, I haven't watched that show in like
I know.
4 years.
I just had a wrong idea of how this conversation was gonna go. Anyway, this is going out to the viewers out there. If you're looking for a Raylo type of TV show, try The Acolyte. I don't think it's great.
Okay.
But it's not bad. Anyway, and it's fun. So yeah, so I wanted to bring that up. I don't.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've never watched any of the Star Wars shows. I've watched a few episodes of The Mandalorian when I think like during 2020 when like we couldn't see people. I think Sage, because I remember Sage and I watched a few episodes on like the Netflix party thing or the teleparty. But I feel like it wasn't like. That's something, because we're watching it on our laptop, and it's like, I feel like it's something you need to watch on your big TV, like, with somebody. It wasn't having, like, a great effect. And we were like, we're gonna watch this! And we watched, like, 3 episodes, and we, like, never brought it up again. We never, like, went to finish it, but I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah.
And I've watched a few episodes of, like, one of the animated ones, when, like, I used to babysit these kids that they were like super into like Star Wars and Harry Potter, but I don't really remember anything that happened in it, but I just remember seeing it on the TV. But yeah,
they have a TV show of your guy from Rogue One. What's his name? Caspian?
Yeah.
Caspian? I don't know his name.
And
yeah, it's called Andor. Is that his name?
Yeah. I was gonna say Andor. I think his name is Cassian Andor.
Okay, slay.
I think.
See, I have not watched Rogue One in years, so I really don't remember any other names other than K2SO.
But yeah. Did you know that in Rogue One there's a big like mess up where they have a scene, there's like this mountain like plateau like mountain thing, and it looks like a person like laying down, like kind of like a person's, like think of like in Moana, you know, and like the mountain like looks like a person. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they show it, and it's like in one scene it looks like this, and then the other scene it looks like this. Like they accidentally like mirrored one of the images.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because I was watching the movie one time and I was like, huh? And then I looked it up and they were like, yeah, this was a mistake. Like, how do you miss that?
I know. Whenever big budgeted films like that have like 1,000 eyes on it before it gets released have mistakes like that, I'm always that's crazy that no one caught it. Like, not blaming anybody, but it was kind of crazy.
Yeah. and it's like huge. They're just like panning the area. And so it's like so pronounced and obvious. It's not like it's just like in the background and if you just happen to notice it, it's like it's the whole screen. So I don't know.
That's crazy. And it's like definitely CGI, or is it like?
I would guess so.
That's wild. This is why you guys, Disney, we need to be paying our animators more money and giving them more time to develop these things. Literally.
Yeah.
This is an issue.
Did you see like all the announcements from the recent Disney conference
Expo
thing? And it's like, why are they all sequels?
I know.
There's like, I think there was like one.
I know.
That started with like an E or something.
Hoppers? Are you talking about Hoppers? There's a new Pixar film called Hoppers coming out. I don't know anything else.
No, I thought it was something called like Elio or something. I don't know.
Elio.
I could be. I don't know. I could be making that up. I thought something started with an E.
Well, maybe there is.
It's just like crazy to me. I was like, really? Like all we're doing is sequels, guys?
I know. People see. Here's my take on this though, which I could be completely wrong. Who's to say? But people are really angry about it, and I'm like, I think they'll actually stop doing sequels, guys, once we stop showing up. Like the thing is it's
That's
like
true.
we're like we don't want sequels. It makes $1 billion. What are we doing?
Well, and you know, like I absolutely was sat for
Inside Out too.
So yeah. But
yeah.
it's like there's like a Toy Story 5.
We
I'm
don't
like,
need it.
Who
need
was
it.
watching Toy Story 4? Now,
Genuinely.
yes. Did I see it? Yes, because we were going to the drive-in and they play 2 movies.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I'm really isn't there an Incredibles 3?
Yeah, they're coming out with the 3rd one, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like I really hope it lives up because I love The Incredibles 1 and 2.
I think the second one of The Incredibles was a really great sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they had 14 years or whatever to work on it. So, anyways, yeah. So I'm not totally a hater, but I just was like, it was just interesting to look because I was just reading like a list and it was like all titles I already knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is interesting.
It is a bummer because I'm not against the sequel or like a remake. I don't even care about a remake, but like I do think we need to be churning out equal or more original ideas.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to have 3 remakes or sequels, you need to have 3 original concepts.
Yeah, because it's like think of all the people that are going to school to learn how to write a movie script or whatever, you know? And it's like there's got to be people that have good ideas.
Yeah. Isn't also
maybe
like
they're
go.
I was just going to say like maybe they're like doing the indie stuff and maybe I need to try to
kind of, but it's hard to break in. I mean, I just think
that out more.
There was a really good speech at this year's Oscars. Who was the guy who did it? It might have been the man who wrote American Fiction, but he said that we need to, he had a great quote and he was like, we need to start funding $10 million movies other than one $100 million movie. And I was like, that's so true. Because like you got to give the voice to the up and comers or the people who haven't gotten their shot or the people who like are really passionate about their projects and not like, I mean, and I love a good Disney film, but like, you know, aren't just working on a huge money hungry kind of film set, unfortunately. But
no, I think I would definitely agree with that. And especially like I don't want to like hate on something that don't watch a lot of, so I might not have the room to talk, but like there's like a million billion jillion like superhero movies.
I know.
And I'm like, at what point like are these telling like are they still telling like interesting, refreshing, worthwhile stories, or is it just like let's put these characters in another situation?
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who's a huge fan of Guardians 1, 2, and 3.
True.
So I get like everybody probably has their favorite and they always want to see a new movie with their favorite hero or whatever. But it's like aren't a lot of those in the Disney realm? Like isn't Guardians it's on Disney Plus.
It's under
right?
Marvel, and Marvel's owned by Disney.
Right. So it's like I know their budgets, it's not like it's just like all one thing.
Yeah.
But still, it's just interesting.
I know.
Like, I haven't seen, besides for the Guardians movies, like, I haven't seen a superhero movie
in a long
since
time.
I don't know when.
Yeah, that's so true. Actually, by the way, the last movie we saw together was Guardians. I remember a few YAP sessions ago, we were like, what was the last movie we saw together? Was it The Fabelmans? No, it was Guardians at the drive-in. Oops, sorry.
The drive-thru.
Drive-in. But yeah, no. I mean, I one time I remember reading a quote from somebody. It might have been like an actor back in the height of Marvel, and I remember being a little butthurt about it, and now I'm like, this is so true. But he said something along the lines of superhero movies are going to become the new westerns, where it's just like they're going to be all the rage for about 10 to 15 years, and then they're going to slowly die out because people are going to be like, there's nothing else we can say about this.
Right.
And so, yeah,
that's interesting.
I think we're reaching that specific era because I don't think people are showing up so much anymore to superhero films.
Well, and also just beyond superhero films, beyond Disney, like, I feel like, well, kind of about, like movies that are so there's so many of them, it's like people might not want to spend the 10, 15, $20 on a ticket every single time if they're like coming out all the time, and it's like, well, we can just see it on Disney Plus in 2 months.
Yeah, that's
me personally, like, I do want to go, like, I wanted to see Inside Out in the theater. If I can see it in the theater, like, I want to. Yeah. However, if I was like a big superhero fan, and I don't know how often they have movies. I feel like there's like 3 a year at least. Like, it's like, you might not be able to, or might not want to, like, pay for that every single time if you already have the service that's going to stream it at home.
Yeah.
Which is just like a whole other conversation. That's so interesting, like the digital age and the loss of tangible media.
It actually causes me so much pain whenever there's a TV show or a movie that maybe I didn't even watch, but like it just disappears from their streaming network.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this was the one place you could actually find that. Like, it would be like a Hulu original, and then Hulu's like, we didn't make enough money on that, so we're gonna scrap it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I rage. I get so angry.
I know. It's like, yeah. That's why I really want the Stranger Things seasons, like, on DVD. I have the first one, but I'm like, what if, well, first of all, I don't have Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
But trust, when season 5 comes out, like, I will, like, buy it for a month or whatever. Trust. But, like, yeah, like, what if that goes away somehow? Like, I want to have it in my possession with a DVD player so that, like, I could play it no matter what happens to the internet or Netflix or, like, streaming or whatever.
True.
You know?
It's also kind of nice because, like, I mean, I'm thinking right now currently about Harry Potter, and it's like having physical media that you got as a child from Harry Potter, and like now not wanting to have anything to do with the person who created Harry Potter. I'm not even gonna speak her name, but like, you know, like, it's like,
yeah,
I don't want to I don't want to watch on HBO because I'm like, that's putting money in her pocket. But it's like, if I have the physical media that cost me $10 back in 2006, I can watch it. No one gets hurt.
Yeah.
I can watch it in the privacy of my home. Like, I don't have to even talk about it with anybody. Like, it's like, truly.
But just put it on blast on the podcast, you know.
True. I haven't seen Harry Potter in years, though, so, like, truly.
Yeah, you know, I'd be watching those, like, every week.
Yeah, but
that's so. And I was just joking, by the way, a second ago. I was being silly.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you.
No,
I don't know if you took that as me being, like, serious about it. I wasn't being serious.
No, you're good. I just don't want people thinking I support.
No, I get it.
Her name, because I don't. Yeah. You guys, I do not. But yeah. But speaking of movies, wait, this feels like a good segue for me to talk about the movie that I saw in theaters 4 times.
Oh, in Twisters or whatever.
Yeah. I just have to tell you about it because it's like, it's very important to me. So I've seen it 4 times. It's been like a week and a half since I last saw it. So I'm like, I feel like I'm on a cleanse currently. It's been different.
The withdrawals are starting.
Literally. I feel like, so I've been seeing people online talk about how it's cheesy. And I'm like, yeah, girl, I know it's cheesy. But I feel like the good qualities of it are so much better than the cheesy elements. You know, like it overpowers.
Like it outweighs.
Yeah. Anyway, I just, where can I start? What do you know about Twisters?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Your Twitter feed. That's all I know.
My favorite thing about myself personally, if I can say that, is that I cannot be calm at all online when I'm going through something. So it's like everyone knows about different phases of movies that I go through. Like, everyone remembers Booksmart. Everyone remembers Little Women. Twisters is now a new era. But anyway, so it's a movie. They had a movie in like the 1990s with our girl. Do you know Helen Hunt? I feel like that's a person you'd know. Okay, never mind. Anyway, okay, we won't say that. Anyway, but so there's a movie called Twister. It was made in the 1990s, and it's just about these storm chasers who are trying. Like, it's like the stakes are really small. Actually, it's like they are trying to chase a tornado so that way they can send up these little. I don't even know what they are. They're like little bulbs of technology that basically can gather data if they're swept up into a tornado.
Oh.
So they're trying to get close enough to a tornado to get these balls up into the tornado so that way they can collect data, because back in the 90s, you know, you don't have your phone. It's hard to get like warnings for tornadoes to get safe other than like the actual sirens that you hear.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people would get injured or die or not get to safety in time because it would be too late by the time the sirens go off. So basically that's the whole like goal of that movie. This one's crazy because it's about a girl who's like trying to actually stop the tornado. So she's using like this like here's the thing. I don't understand the science. My lights just fell down. Sorry if anyone saw that.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Cool. So my lighting's a little bit different on the camera, but who cares? Anyway. But it's like a girl, she's like trying to like mix up this concoction of polymers and things, whatever, that if you put up into the twister, hopefully it will disperse the twister and get rid of it. So that's the whole thing. Anyway, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when you said, like, I don't understand the science of it, it's probably because it's not actual science.
No,
it
it's
can't
not.
Be
It's not
understood. You know what I mean?
I've like read a bunch of articles about it, and people are like, Twisters needs to be either a lot dumber or a lot smarter, but instead they kind of take the middle road, where it's like they're not really gonna explain too much. They're gonna hope you just go along with it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just if they say, I feel like always in like science movies, they're always saying like the quantum, blah blah blah. They always want to say the word quantum. I'm like, okay, and
me, someone who like got a C- in chemistry, I'm like, wow. Okay, like I'm so on board because I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so it's like one of those movies that I just feel like you don't see too often in like big blockbusters, which is just like, I think it has like a lot of heart to it. It's just about like good people wanting to do a good thing for the world, you know?
Uh-huh.
And it's like also what I love about it is it's like a disaster film, right? And I feel like a lot of disaster films, they take the wrong route where it's like it's so easy to get sucked into a cynical hole when making a movie about death and destruction. And it's like no one really wants that. I mean, maybe if you're like a certain 35-year-old man who like loves to see people get sucked up into tornadoes, sure, I guess you'd love. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like there's like men I feel like love to see death and destruction on screen, and I don't. I want to walk out of a theater feeling like hopeful and excited about something, and not like I just had the life drained out of me. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a movie about like human connection and like empathy and like it just is really rooted in like, okay, but how are tornadoes impacting the people of Oklahoma, and how is it like, how does destruction from tornadoes give characters PTSD, or like you lose a lot, and so our main character suffers from grief, and like what are all the layers of human emotion and connection that we can explore through destruction. It's great. So I don't know, it's not like a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes type of movie, and it's mostly just a fun blockbuster that really doesn't need me to defend it very earnestly.
Who cares? Yeah.
But it's just, I get excited when like really big popular kind of outlandish movies have like really great heart, because it's like the best part of cinema to me. So yeah.
You know what? You talking about that just made me remember that I had a professor in college who, sorry, I was rolling my eyes if you are just listening. This guy, first of all, he was my finance teacher. Okay, so why would movies come up, right?
Sure.
We're talking about finance.
Sure.
I'm trying to learn about annuities and something. Literally, I don't even know what this stuff means because he would spend so much of his time talking about movies, and he apparently he produces and directs movies. Like he has a few movies that are on like maybe like Amazon Prime or something.
What?
So like he actually does. Yeah, it's kind of cool. However, he was always going on these rants for whatever reason in our finance class about like, you guys don't want to be the type of people that just like go home every day and all you do after work is just watch TV and go to bed. He was like, me and my wife, we watch movies.
You're like, kidding.
Okay.
You're kidding.
He was saying, like, you know, like, they'll watch, like, 30 minutes of a movie every night instead of watching a TV show. I'm like, first of all, that sounds horrible. Why would you break a movie up into, like, parts? It's meant to be watched, like, as one thing.
Yeah.
And this was at the time, this was, like, in 2021 or 2022 when the Godzilla movie came out. One of the new Godzilla movies came out. In 2 different class periods, he brought it up and he was like, why would you guys waste your time, like, seeing, like, such a silly, like, just, like, a movie like that. Basically, he was, like, ragging on any sort of movie that was just, like, for fun, or just, like, oh, cool graphics, you know? And he was like, so, like, movies are supposed to be art. And I was like, I love when movies are art, but I also love when movies are fun.
Godzilla is a crazy movie to bring up, by the way, because that is literally a movie that, like, Godzilla started because we were talking about, like, I think warfare. like
yeah,
that's
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, like, it's like about, like, hey guys, this is what happens when we're, like, destroying the world, by the way. And it's like, we have made it into a very commercialized, very fun effects kind of movie, but again, if you, like, kind of look at the real message, it's kind of trying to say something.
Yeah. And he would always just be like, he was so pretentious about it, and he'd always wear these, like, vintage 70s like plaid jacket things, and he would always tell us about how they're vintage, and we're like, are you trying to, like, be cool to us? Because we don't care. Like, we were a bunch of, like, 20-year-olds, and he's like, I don't know, 50 something, you know, like, what are you trying to prove to us? It was so annoying. Like, I just, like, can't stand when people, like, think they're better than other people because, like, they watch movies that are art and they don't just, like, watch, I don't know, like, The Office or Friends or, like, I don't even know what type of show he was, like, hating on, but I was like, nobody cares.
It's honestly, to me, I feel like there is such a loss, actually, if you're somebody who refuses to interact with pop culture and pop media. Because it's like, if you're only going to be focused on the art house stuff, I totally get it. I mean, I'm sure the quality is so much better than, I mean, I know it is because I do watch both, but it's like, if you're not engaging with pop media, it's like you're missing out on so many conversations that you can learn from, like, what other people are learning from huge, big budgeted movies. Because I mean, like, a lot of them have the same message, or, you know, you can develop different critical thinking skills from watching a $100 million movie versus a $10 million movie or whatever.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
Anyways, just the way you were talking about Twisters, like, and I don't know because I've never seen either of them, but it feels to me like something that professor would be like, oh, you guys are, like, wasting your time watching this movie. But it's like, it sounds like it sounds like it was fun, but there actually is, like, some heart and some, like, some sort of lesson or whatever to it, you know? Speaking of heart in shows, I wanted to talk about Come On Feel the Illinoise on Broadway.
Yeah. Yes.
It was so good. It was so good. So Kelly and I went to see this. It's the album by, say his name for me.
Oh, Sufjan Stevens.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Here's my playbill for the watchers. I got it signed by one of the dancers.
Wait,
she was so nice. No, it wasn't Ben Cook.
Okay. Guys, I have to tell you. So Laura went to see Illinoise, and she posted on her Instagram. So I swiped up and I was like, oh my gosh, my favorite newsie is in this show. And she was like, hey, what's your favorite newsie's name? And I was like, oh, Ben Cook. And she just sends me a photo of her and Ben Cook.
We got a selfie.
I was like distraught in the best way possible, where I was like, wow, so happy for you, but genuinely I should have been there.
Yeah, like, I don't care that something good happened to you.
It should have happened to me.
He was like the main like, he's listed first.
Yeah.
You could see that
first on the call sheet.
It's kind of hard to remember what all the characters' names were because they weren't talking to each other. So, he played Carl, which is, like, in the song that's my favorite song from that album, he like he's singing about like the ghost of Carl coming back, and like Carl's like the like love interest who, well, I don't it's like, is anyone really gonna come see the show?
Well, it's closed now. Listening? It's closed.
It already closed?
Yeah, it closed on like I think August 10th.
How do you always know this stuff?
Because I'm in tuned. I'm keeping my ear to the ground.
Well, anyways, he ends up like dying. So then it's like one of the first songs is like talking about. Okay, so let me just set the scene for this show.
Yeah.
So the band is up on these like platforms in the back, and then there's 3 singers. There's 2 women on one side and 1 guy on the other side. And like they also are playing some instruments too, which was really awesome. So those are like the singers. And then there's like the dancers that are down on the floor that are dancing. And so there's no talking, like they're singing words, but there's not they're just singing his songs. There's not like dialogue. And so it was like they were at camp, some sort of camp, and they all had journals, and they were like taking turns sharing their like their personal story, whatever it is. It was like they all had taken time to write, and then like one by one they were like sharing their story, and some of these people's stories were just like kind of random, like just like an aside, you know. But then we get to like basically like the narrators like story, which I think would be the character Henry. And then like it's like basically like he's realizing that he's gay, and he's like kind of like he likes his friend, but then his friend, they're like kind of like holding hands kind of maybe, but then like he is with this girl, and so then like the main character is like Henry is like feeling confused and conflicted, and it's just like I cannot explain to you because there was no dialogue. It was just like I was just watching a story, but it's just like about this guy who fell in love, and that love was taken away from him, and his first love ends up dying at some point, but he's with this other guy at that point in the story, and then but then he's like obviously feeling really sad about his first love, and like but one of the first songs talks about like the ghost of Carl came back and he spoke to me, and so it's kind of like a foreshadow to later. Anyways, it was beautiful, it was amazing, the dancers were so amazing, the choreographer was Justin Peck, who I think he's the director of New York City Ballet, and like choreographs for them obviously, so the choreography was very like ballet inspired. Like I would say it was contemporary, but very contemporary ballet, but of course they're wearing like their tennis shoes and their joggers and their flannels, and like they're in their camp gear, which is just like I just love it so much. And like it was just, the dancers were all so good, and they weren't even just good at dancing, they were really good at telling the story, and like especially because with no dialogue, all you have is the lyrics and the emotion and expression of the dancers, and like it was enough. And I could tell what was going on, and I literally was like, it was kind of like, you know, when we were at like the Eras tour, and it's like you have to keep telling yourself like enjoy it right now because it's gonna end, you know what I mean? I was just like I don't want this to end, and as soon as it was over I was like, okay, I'm ready to see it again. Like and it's so short, it was only 90 minutes with no intermission because it's just the one album, so it wasn't like as long as like a typical musical, but like I was entranced the entire time. Like I guess it's closed now, but if it ever goes like on like a national tour or something, if it comes back, like I recommend this show, especially if you like Sufjan, is that right?
Yep.
If you like his music already, like then you're gonna like it because it's all his music, you know?
Yeah.
And I only knew, like, I really just knew the one song. So the backstory of this is Kelly one year for Christmas, this was a few years ago, made a, do you hear that beeping?
Yeah, what is that?
It might be my, I don't know. I'm just gonna turn my AC off.
Okay.
But Kelly a few years ago made me a mix CD with songs that she thought I'd like, and she put this song on there that's called Come On Feel the Illinoise. So I guess the show is just called Illinoise.
Yeah.
But I keep calling it Come On Feel the Illinoise.
The song. Yeah.
But that's because that's the song that I really like. And I like literally fell in love with this song. It's one of my absolute favorite songs ever. And then when we saw this was on Broadway, she was like, well, I want to come visit you and we should go see this. So anyways, it was just like such a special moment because like that song is so special to us as sisters, and like she loves that whole album, and I was obviously really excited to see it because it's a very dance heavy show, and which is just always what I prefer. And yeah, it was perfect. It was amazing. It was so good. It was so good.
Sounds like the coolest concept for a musical. Like I genuinely, it feels like it's doing actually something different. Like it's a truly original idea, which is so great. And it's like I famously said on this podcast, I don't really like jukebox musicals, but like I love a concept musical. I love a musical with an idea.
Yeah. And it's like, like this music obviously was not written for a musical, so it was already music that they made into a musical, but like because it's like one album, one artist, it didn't have like a feel of like a jukebox musical, you know what I mean? And like I hope that this starts like more shows of this style, because this is like that, watching that, I was like, that is my dream, is to be in that. Because like sometimes like concert dance, which is just like when you go see like a ballet company or a modern company or contemporary company and you go sit in a theater and they put on an evening length show, like I've done that before, and that's basically what I did in college, and like I like it, but I like the thing that I like about being in musicals is there's like one cohesive story, and like everyone is playing a part in this story, but it's like, but I like dancing the most, more than singing, more than acting. And so like a show like this where it's like it has the camaraderie kind of a musical, but with more of like concert dance influence and like performance. Oh my gosh, it's just like the epitome of like everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah. I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Okay, well, I saw Moulin Rouge like a few weeks ago, right? And I have mixed feelings about it because I think about the source material and how you need to stay true to the vibes. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, like the energy and like what the source material is trying to convey, you have to stay as true to that as possible. And I feel like if you're going to turn something that's not a musical into a musical, you just need to like, you need to understand what the original vision is. And like, so like I saw Moulin Rouge and I was like, this is such, okay, I don't want to be mean to people who like this musical, because I know a lot of people like it. It's a very fun musical. I'm not trying to rag on it, but like it felt like it was a kind of cheap adaptation of the original material to me, which kind of like bummed me out because
which, side note, like Dan, you love the movie.
Yes, that's the thing. So like that's the
you're
thing.
not like, I just want the listeners to know, like, you're not just like coming at this like as like a hater or something. You're a lover.
Yeah, I'm a lover of Moulin Rouge. Trust. I think that's the problem, is because I just got really bummed out because I wanted something that was like fresher than what was presented. Yeah. And maybe if you had no idea about what Moulin Rouge was about, you'd come in and you'd be like, oh, this is fun. But like, I feel like personally, as far as like the room that there was for like the original movie musical to grow was not actually very big, because it's one of those things that I don't know how much a theater adaptation of the film was actually necessary, because I think film was the best medium for that specific piece of work.
Yeah.
There was nothing more really we could build on. But I think Illinoise is like the perfect way to bring a body of work to life, because it's like, well, specifically that one, because I think Sufjan Stevens' work is just like very lyrical heavy and emotional, and like you kind of, I think to fully connect to it you have to feel the emotion and understand the lyrics. And so I don't know, I feel like this musical just like truly understood how this could, like, how the original piece could be built upon. And and I think it only just like complements the work, and also like it coexists, because like you can listen to the album and not have any need or desire to see the musical, or you could listen to the musical and get almost the full effect of the album, I think, maybe even more in different ways. So it's just like, I feel like it's just such a, I just love a fresh idea. And I love that.
And you know what? You know the album Death of a Bachelor by Panic at the Disco?
I know exactly what you're going to say. Yeah.
I have had literally the idea, like the format that this Illinois show is, I have had that same format idea for that album, and I've like rearranged the songs into a story. I have this whole storyline. There'd be no dialogue. There's the one really big scene with the feathers and the this and the that, crazy equals genius, if you know that one. And like I have this whole storyline, and so seeing this show and like seeing like it's possible for it to be pulled off well, I'm like, someone's got to get me in the writers room, because I have an idea.
Girl, get Justin Peck on the phone, be like, I want to change history, like genuinely.
And so it's like, I don't even know, like, I feel like I need to like get my friends in the studio and start making like kind of like demos of like a show, and then like, you know, I could take it to like a company or someone and be like, can we set this, you know?
True.
Because I think that's how a lot of these things start. Like, they start way smaller than you could imagine, and then like they keep building up. But anyways, my little Death of a Bachelor idea.
I wonder if Brendan Urie would be down for that, or if he'd be like, I don't know anything about Brendan Urie, so I don't know what he's like, but like, I don't know. I feel like, because it's just like, to me, I'm like, oh my god, Sufjan Stevens, like everything I know about him, I'm like, it low-key feels so right for him to be like, yeah, let's do this. But Brendan Urie, I feel like he might be stingy, but if it's really good,
I feel like he would appreciate the theater, though, because wasn't he in Kinky Boots?
Oh my god, he was in Kinky Boots.
Yeah.
You're so right.
So, like,
I wonder if he's going to be like, can I play the main... can I be on stage on that piano, like, Death of the Bachelor?
That would be so cool if he was, like, the singer, you know?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. And I was worried about... I don't really know if I would say worried, but, like, for the one song that I really love, I was curious to see if I would, like... Because a lot of times I don't really like covers of songs, and so I didn't know if I would, like, feel about, like, hearing someone else sing the song. But the guy that... It was mostly the guy that was singing that song, but the women were singing, too. And it was amazing. Like, it was amazing.
I was listening to the soundtrack the other day just because I was curious and I hadn't heard it yet. But I was like... Or I guess it's called the original cast recording. But... But I was like, they feel so much like a Greek choir in some way. Do you know? Like, it's like, I don't know if that was the intention or what, but it just like, I loved hearing all their voices together. And I was like, it feels like they're just here to tell the story. And like, I could, like, I don't know, like, even though I wasn't watching the musical and I had no idea what was going on, I like could like picture exactly kind of how the stage was set and like what they looked like and how they were performing. I was like, that's kind of crazy that like you're painting such a clear picture through just your vocals.
Literally, one of the songs that was towards the end, let me see if I can find it in here, because if anyone knows this song, they will be able to like understand better. But it was just one of the women singing, and it was like so hauntingly good. It was called the Sears Tower.
Oh, uh-huh.
Like the Sears.
Yeah.
And this was kind of, I think this was the song where we saw Carl die, and it was like he was like up on this ledge, and these kind of like ghost type people, they were dressed in all in black, they're kind of symbolizing death, I'm assuming, were like walking up to him and then like falling off the back. And I kept wanting to watch what was happening, but I couldn't take my eyes off of the singer, and all she was doing was singing. It's not like she was like doing anything with her body or like dancing or anything, but she was just so good. I was like I couldn't stop watching her, even though like the point was just to hear her, but just like she was so into what she was singing, and she was like giving so much in that song. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. Fun.
Yeah. Okay. That's that. Let me see what else I wrote on my notes of what I wanted to give a disclaimer. This is so like random. But on our last episode, if you listen to our Trust of the Emerald Sea episode, I feel like I need to come clean. When I said my rating was between 2 to 4, I was thinking on a 10-point scale, because I usually think on a 10-point scale, but Danielle had said 5. So I just wanted people to know that like my 2 to 4 was based like out of 10. I just wanted people to know like
it's so
how I actually rated it, because Danielle and I thought we were on the same page,
on the same exact page. We're like, oh yeah. So we're like 3 stars kind of average.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was doing out of 5 because that's on any like site where you rank things or rate things, like Letterboxd or Goodreads, that's always out of 5 stars, and so I've just adjusted,
which makes sense. I just don't I don't normally do Goodreads ratings or whatever, so I don't know why I just was thinking out of 10, and I missed when you said out of 5, so then like my rating wasn't clear. So anyways, just wanted to let the peoples know. So
low-key, I kind of feel like we should have at the beginning of every episode maybe like a brief housekeeping section.
That's what John and Hank do.
We're just like,
it's
hey,
at the
so we
end.
misspoke. Oh, okay, we could do it at the end too. But like, because like sometimes I'm listening to this and I'm like, why did I say that? Like, that is not true. On our Frozen episode, when I was explaining Chekhov's gun to you, I called it a literary device, while consistently also bringing up like it being used in movies. And and I was like, okay, girl, my English degree is not coming out. It's actually in the shadows.
So funny.
So yeah, Chekhov's gun, by the way, is a narrative device for anybody questioning. It's not a literary device.
Yeah, like on Dear Hank and John, they'll sometimes read like corrections or comments that people write in.
Okay.
Hopefully people don't start emailing us that we're
guys,
saying things wrong.
Be mean, please. We're trying our best. It's also like, I feel like if you guys starting a podcast personally is so interesting, because I don't think the human mind is meant to listen to ourselves talk over and over and over again, because it's just like on a daily basis, I would say about every conversation has 20% of like cluttering, which would just be like misspeaking or like saying like or whatever over and over and over again. And so on the podcast, though, you feel like it needs to be perfect because it's being documented and published. And so it's always making me stress sometimes. And so people need to give some grace. I'm saying this as if people have come for me.
No one's come for us.
Exactly. This is just...
I think maybe you just need to give yourself grace.
Okay.
Wait, did I kind of read it right there?
Yeah, you really did. It's like that one. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a John Mulaney interview with Stephen Colbert. And he's like talking about his anxiety, and Stephen Colbert goes, and that's why like you can never really get close to anyone. And he just goes, ooh.
Oh.
Like read on live television. That's how that felt.
Yeah. You know what I noticed though when listening to our last couple episodes? I all the time say, that's so funny. I'm like, okay, we get it.
Really? I've never noticed that.
Oh my gosh, it was like every other thing I said.
Mine, I hate the amount of times I say like, or I'll start a sentence and stop myself like midway through because I'm like, I don't want to say that, and then I go back and I do a new thing. Or I'm always just in the mic going, yeah. Hate it.
Yeah, it is so awkward when we like edit the first part, when like we put our own audio with our video and I just have to hear myself and see myself go, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's so true. No, it's always whenever I'm editing. So if you guys don't know, I do most of the editing and then I go ahead and upload it. But whenever I'm editing it, I'm always like, this is the worst thing, because it's always me. You are always like, I'm like, wow, perfect genius, love. And then every time I speak, I'm like, this is the worst podcast of mine to date. And then I'll listen to it, like give it 48 hours. And then I'll listen to it on the Spotify to make sure it sounds good. And I'm like, oh wait, no, this kind of eats. I'm like, okay. Like they have a vision.
I think we're doing pretty good.
I do too. And there's only uphill. Like, we're just getting better, I think.
True.
Which is really good.
I wanted to tell you about this lady that I met at my job the other day.
Okay.
So I was reading our book, Lessons in Chemistry, which it's like a bright cover and it's a big book. So when I have it out on the desk, like people probably are noticing it. And this group came in. It was like 3 guys and a woman. And she just seems so awesome. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but she just seems so awesome. And she was like, oh my gosh, that book, like, that's so good. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm only a little bit into it. But she's like, but you're far enough, you know, like, it's good. And I was like, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then they were sitting behind me. And one of the guys in their group, like, needed his phone charged. And, like, I have, like, the iPad with, like, our reservations on it. And like, the iPad was, like, at 100%. So I was like, yeah, like, I can charge your phone up here. It's fine. And then they were like, this guy, he's always letting his phone die. La, la, la. Like, they were being really silly with me. And it was fun. And then, like, the man, who I think was married to the woman, for whatever reason, he was, like, looking over my shoulder, which I was kind of like, hi. But he was like, oh, yeah, like, have you seen that show, the Lessons in Chemistry show? I was like, no, I haven't seen it, but like my friend told me like that there's a show, but like I want to at least finish the book first. And he's like, oh yeah, you definitely should, but like we've watched the show and it's like so good, like oh my gosh, la la la. And then as they were leaving, the couple was like, did you see she's reading that book? And they're like, yeah, like oh my gosh, I was telling her like the show is so good. And I was like, yeah, like I'm reading it with my friend or whatever. And then the woman tells me, she's like, you remind me of someone. She was telling me, she was like, you just seem like you're so like confident and self-assured and like you know who you are, and like you just seem like so like, yeah, like you just know who you are. And she was like, I really like that. She was like, where are you from? And I was like, well, I've lived in New York for like since January, but I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, like the Midwest. And she was like, we're from Kansas City, Missouri.
Exactly.
And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, like la 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 la. And I was like, I'm technically from like Lee Summit, if you know where that is. And like the guy was saying he's like from Leewood, and it's like I know where that is. And it's like one of them was from the Missouri side, one of them's from the Kansas side. And like I told him that I went to UMKC, and so did the woman. It was like so crazy.
That is insane.
And she was like, I just knew, like, you just seemed like you weren't, like, from here. Like, you just seemed, like, more, like, she didn't say down to earth, but, like, something about, like, that Midwesterner thing. Like, just, like, I don't know. It was, like, so sweet. She gave me her email, because she was like, because she was telling me, because I told her I was there, like, to dance. I'm here, like, to dance and stuff. And she was like, oh my gosh, we have friends who do this and this. And she was like, I'm going to give you my email address because we just need to stay in touch.
What? That is crazy.
She was so awesome. No, she was
awesome,
so cool, though.
I feel like it's so funny. Whenever you move or go somewhere else, I feel like it's almost like you attract the people from your same town. It's insane. There was one time, I am originally from a very, very small town in Massachusetts. In, like, the town I live in now, which there's not even that many people here, but like I was one time behind somebody who got their car from my hometown car dealership. And I was like, what
That's crazy.
are you doing here? I was like, we should link up because like, what are you doing here? Anyway,
it's like the Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing at each other.
No, truly,
yeah. It was just so crazy, and it was so nice. And it's like, books just bring people together, you know.
That's so true. Yeah. Cool. Well, if we're talking about books, can I give you my huge big announcement that I'm so excited?
Oh my gosh.
It's not even that huge or big. It's not that. Don't get your hopes
Wait,
up.
can I guess?
Yeah, but it's not that big.
Can I guess though?
Sure, go ahead.
Are you back on track with your reading goal?
No, but I'm out of a slump.
Oh.
I'm out of a slump, which is great.
Okay.
I'm still about, I think I'm like 13 books behind on my reading goal, which...
Wait, tell the people what took you out of your slump. Was it something that you texted me about? When you picked up a book from the shelf and you just read it?
Oh, yeah. I was like, what did I text you about? Yeah. Okay. So I've been in a reading slump since April, like 4 months, and I've been trying everything, like literally everything. I think I must have picked up about 20 or 30 books in that time.
Oh my gosh.
And I know, and I would like read the first few chapters. I probably would never ever get past page 50, and I was just like, I don't even know how to explain it. I would just get so bored. It would feel like watching paint dry, even if I was rereading like one of my favorites. And so I was like, I'm just not meant to be reading right now. I think it's just like my brain doesn't want to, and like this is not what I'm doing. Anyway, so I got to a point though where like, so I have a job where I can listen to audiobooks or like whatever. If I'm not busy, I can just put my headphones on and do it. And so I was like, this is so boring. I don't know what else to do. So I was like picking up just any random book I could find. And so this is how we led to this. I picked up a book called 1 Star Romance by Laura Hankin. And I went into this book blind as a bat. Literally knew nothing. I pulled a Laura and I texted her and she was so excited about it because this is how Laura goes into probably 90% of her books. Maybe even more, 95. I don't even know what the rating or the
basically
average would
all
be.
the books that I've read this year, besides for like 6 of Crows and Turtles All the Way Down.
Yeah, see, I don't do that. I think it's just because I'm like way too in tuned with pop lit that like there's just rarely a time I ever go in blind to a book. But this one I didn't know anything about, which is actually funny because I say that, and then I went onto my TikTok later and was like looking through my saves, and I found 3 TikToks like about like with quotes from this book from like 4 months ago.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
I know that I saved, and I was like, oh, I have no memory of this. So like, there was a past me who thought I'd be interested, and she was correct. Anyway, this though was truly I think the best way for me to read this book, because I went in thinking one thing and then it turned out to be another. Because if you look up this book, the only thing I knew about it was the cover and the title. So if you look up the book, the cover looks fairly cheesy. It looks just like a cheesy romance, and the title I don't think is helping it at all because it's called 1 Star Romance. So I wasn't really expecting it to be like, I didn't think it was going to blow me away. I just wanted it to pass the time. But it had some of my favorite aspects that I ever have in books, like that I find in books.
Right.
And I rarely ever find them in romance books. So I was like so excited. So like
it's like the ultimate crossover for you.
I know. So like for example, I have a shelf on Goodreads that is called like the Normal People universe, and it's just basically books that give me the same vibe as my favorite book, Normal People by Sally Rooney. And so it's like basically to fit on this list, you kind of have to have like character focused stories that are also like relationship heavy, and they have to span for like years. It can't just be like I like books that will like start when the characters are in college and then end when they're like 35 or something. Do you know what I mean?
And this is why you need to read Shoot the Moon, but yes.
Oh, okay. No, you know what? I'll put it on my list. I really will. Because I did not know that was a thing. Okay. Which maybe you told me and I just forgot.
That's okay. I don't remember if I did.
But like, and then also the plot has to do with 2 characters that the audience really wants them to be together and they really want to be together, but for some reason they just can't figure it out. Like they keep getting pulled apart. It's painful, but I love it. Anyway, this book had all that. I was so excited.
Yeah?
I was so excited. So, yeah, I don't know. Should I explain it? Do you want me to explain it for you? Or no?
If you want to, sure.
Okay, well, I'll do it for the viewers because this is a book podcast and I want to recommend it to
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we always talk about plots and stuff, so go for it.
You're right. Also, this is a really quick side note. I'm looking at my hair right now, and it looks like the chicken in Surf's Up.
What?
Do you know the chicken in Surf's Up?
No.
Okay.
What Surf's Up?
The penguin movie.
Oh.
About the penguins who surf.
Wait. Oh, I just know Happy Feet.
Okay, so that's a completely different thing.
I don't know if I've seen. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know if I've seen it.
That's crazy. Well, there's chicken in that one. I don't know why there's a chicken in it, but he's got like crazy little things. And because I cut my hair recently, I got somewhat curtain bangs.
Oh, are the bangs sticking out?
The bangs are going crazy. Nobody be mean to me about it, please. I'm trying my best.
I'm missing all your references today. I feel bad.
Yeah, girl. I think it's just like what's crazy is I actually feel like maybe only like 30% of our interests really fully line up. And when they line up, it's like galaxy brains. But like everything else, we're both like, huh? Yeah, what are you talking about? Anyway,
that's so funny.
So the premise of this book, though, is that we're following these two characters who at the very beginning of the book, their best friends get engaged to each other. So then they each, like, the girl becomes the maid of honor and then the guy becomes the best man at this wedding. And so that's kind of how they meet. And at first they really hit it off, which is so fun. Like, she's an up-and-coming author who just published her first book. And then he is, like, a grad student who's throwing his life into school. And so they're super fun. They've got good banter. It's very fun at first. But the problem is that her best friend, or no, the main character, the writer, she does not like her best friend's fiance, aka the best man's best friend.
Oh.
So, and this is where the problem is. She dislikes him so much that she accidentally writes a character like the best friend into her book and paints him in like a very bad light. And so
it's kind of giving Turtles All the Way Down. Look.
Oh yeah, it so is. You're so right. But yeah, so
text to
text, exactly. You know, she loves text to text. But yeah, so when the best man reads the book, he of course clocks that and he gets so mad at her that he goes online and gives her first 1-star review, which like shatters
1-star romance, the titular review.
Yep. And then we follow it after that. And so like I said, it spans for years. So it's like about these characters like falling apart and coming back together, and like we're watching their relationship develop over the years. It's so good, but it's like really it was really rom-com-y at first. Like I was like, this is like a typical rom-com plot, and so I was like, this is so silly, haha, love. And then like the book started doing like insane character exploration and like really great building on this relationship. And so by the 30% mark, I was like, it's like, this is really eating.
That's good.
Yes,
it sounds interesting.
I know. Yeah, it's really fun. If you guys want like a well-written romance that like I feel like it kind of like feeds you, you know, because sometimes I can read a romance and I'm like, other than the romance, like I feel like really this doesn't have so much substance. I felt like this book had a whole lot of substance to it, and it gets emotional, but it's not too emotional. It's like it's a good blend of like lightheartedness and also real world problems. So yeah, I've been pitching it as, if you know the book Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, or like the book, movie, TV show One Day, I would say it's those two meets When Harry Met Sally. And so everybody,
I've not read any of those yet.
Well, you would like Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow.
I know. It's been on my mind.
Yeah.
I keep seeing it at every bookstore, and like, I swear I thought I had it at one point, but I think I'm just confusing it with a different book.
Okay. Yeah.
That had like a similar cover or something.
Yeah. I think John Green actually wrote a blurb for that book. Like
really?
A recommendation. Yeah. He said it was his favorite.
I trust.
His favorite book of that year. So. It's
nice.
So good. Anyway, but this book is good too. So I think you guys should go read it if you're
nice.
Interested.
Well, I'm glad it got you out of your slump.
I know. Now I'm just like, I've finished like 3 other books since then. I was like, girl, thank God. It was rough.
I've read 2 in between Tress and starting this other one. They're called, one was called Genuine Sweet, which is like the girl's name, and it's supposed to be pronounced genuine, not genuine. It's just like about a girl, and it's like so middle. It's actually probably more like 4th grade. Well, I think the main character's in middle school. So it's for young readers, and anyways, just like her, it has a touch of fantasy in it. Her and her grandma, they can like fetch wishes for people, and they like get starlight, and then they can like kind of grant wishes. And her her dad is like always drunk, and he's not like a good dad, and like she's they're really poor, and like they don't really have much. Meanwhile, she's like getting all these wishes for everyone else, and everyone's like kind of demanding so much of her, and she's like this isn't fair, like why am I like doing all of this for everyone else, and no one cares to like help me. It really surprised me, like that it kind of like the Twisters movie maybe. It seemed like like a fun sort of fantasy magical realism whatever story about a young girl, but it actually, like, I feel like it had some deep, it was making me think, you know.
Yeah, that's
it
nice.
got a little deep. And then I read this other one called Oakwing, A Fairy's Tale, which was so like 3rd grade. And it was just, that one was very like Genuine Sweet was like more like realistic fiction with just like this touch of like, obviously granting wishes is like magic, but it wasn't like a fairy tale, whereas this one was more like this girl's mother went missing, and 7 years later she goes under the same oak tree, and then she cries, and then she turns into a fairy.
Oh, okay.
And then she's like trying to get back to like her parents, or like her dad and her sister, and then she finds her mom is a fairy, and her mom never figured out how to escape, and they're like running from the foxes, and they're gonna get eaten by the, you know, because they're little fairies. And it's like very like very like fast paced, like action, like, oh no, like the bad fairies are after us, you know what I mean? Like, it was very much more like silly fairy tale, and not as like there wasn't necessarily like a huge lesson to be learned. It was just like for fun,
right? Okay.
But it was cute. I mean, it was a super short read. So
yeah,
anyways,
yeah,
those are my books that I picked up off the shelf a couple weeks ago. So
is Lessons in Chemistry, is that your first adult book of the year, would you say?
No, Shoot the Moon is.
Okay, well, you know what I'm doing right now? I'm literally adding it to my Goodreads. So
I literally told you about this book.
I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry. I keep getting Shoot the Moon and Star Splitter mixed up, by the way.
Yeah, well, they're my 2 favorite books of the year so far.
Yeah, I love the astronomy theme.
Yeah, that's pretty typical for me. But yeah, no. But other than that, I think yeah, this is probably the only other adult book I've read. It's just it's not what I go for. It's just like the covers never interest me as much as like the YA and the juvenile fiction covers.
Yeah.
And I'm picking things out by the covers and the titles. So
Laura said I will judge a book by its cover, actually.
I do.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because actually it's like, you guys, marketing of a book, there's a lot that goes into it, and marketing has to be strong. And so it's like, I don't think we should blame people for picking books by covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a reason, you know.
For sure.
But yeah, no, actually, I was thinking that Lessons in Chemistry, and we can talk about it more when we finish the book, but elements of it are reminding me of Shoot the Moon, because in Shoot the Moon, she's a, like an astronomer, physicist or something, in the, I think the 70s. So she's like working at NASA, like as a woman.
Sweet. Yeah.
And trying to like, I think she starts as a receptionist, but like she went to school like for astronomy and physics. Like she has the education to do something higher, and she's trying to like get into that or whatever. So it's kind of like reminding me of Lessons in Chemistry, like a woman in a very, very male dominated field, like back, you know, 50 years ago or however long that was.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it sounds like
kind of.
Yeah, another text-to-text connection. But it sounds a lot like Hidden Figures too, which I keep whenever I'm reading Lessons in Chemistry. Yeah. I'm also thinking about Hidden Figures, because unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot of science-based media about women in that field.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm not far enough in lessons in chemistry to really say, but
yeah,
Shoot the Moon is definitely not as like Hidden Figures is more like about the plight of the women.
Yeah.
Whereas like Shoot the Moon is just like that's just like her scenario, but that's not necessarily the focus of the whole story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
It's an element of it, but it's not like the main thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Anyways, glad you finally added that too.
Yeah, it's added. Don't worry. Don't worry. Also, I feel like one time you told me that it didn't have a lot of good ratings on this one. Maybe it was a different one.
Yes, that's the one that I told you that I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, the people have to be talking about this on Goodreads. And then I went and everyone was like saying that there was like plot holes in this and that, and it's like saying there's plot holes in Interstellar. It's like, okay, when you have a movie that's like about if it has like space and like time travel and stuff, it's like there's obviously going to be plot holes because like that's not real.
Yeah.
Or at least not to our knowledge yet. You know what I mean? Like or like in Harry Potter, like when they go back in time, it's like, okay, obviously like it can't be airtight because you're talking about
a fictional thing. A fictional concept that probably would never happen in real life.
And so it's like one of those things where it's like there were like a couple things that I was like, I kind of had an issue with, kind of like, this could have been cleaned up a little bit.
Sure.
But in general, it's just like I'm choosing to suspend my belief and like be in it with the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have two things to say really quick, by the way. But first of all, love people suspending their disbelief for the greater good of the story. That's my favorite thing I feel like more people need to try to do. But anyway, Shoot the Moon, though, has like a 3.72 rating, which sure, like that might turn people off. But as I said on the last podcast, that's my sweet spot. So, like I think One Star Romance has a similar rating. Yeah. And I was reading the reviews and I was like, you guys are so mean. Because, like, I mean, sure, I understand. People on One Star Romance, by the way, I would say if you don't like annoying main characters or characters that are harder to warm to, skip it. Truly skip it because I don't want to hear it. But, like, people on Goodreads, they were like, the main girl was so annoying. I'm like, guys, that's kind of the point. Like, can we like talk about how it's actually important sometimes to have...
It's like, no offense, but some of us are annoying in real life, so...
Yeah, and it's like, the girl learned her lesson. Oh, you're so right, though, by the way. I'm the most annoying person in the world. So every time I relate to somebody... Okay, my favorite character, the character I relate to the most, is Connell Waldron from Normal People. And I see slander on that man. He did bad. Trust, I know he's done bad. But I see slander on that man left and right. And I feel like every time someone like attacks him, I'm like catching strays myself. Like I'm secondhand wounds. But anyway, so I'll read that for sure because it seems like I'll probably actually like it. Yeah. But I
have I wish I would have brought it. Oh my gosh, I just put that chapstick on. It's like looks crazy. It's like super melty. Anyways, I have it. I wish I would have brought it home when I came home like a month ago. So you could read my copy and see all my little notes in it.
You already gave me this bad boy.
I know, but that one's going to take you like 2 days to read.
True. Well, I still have to read. Ooh, you got a cute bookmark in here. I'll show the people.
Oh, yeah. I think that's from the bookstore that I got it from.
I love going to an independent bookstore and getting a bookmark. Ugh. Because I'm like, thank you. But, yeah, I still need to also read, what is it? 10,000 Doors of January?
Oh, yeah.
I fear I have to read that soon. So I'll do that because you lent that to me. But this is a really also tiny side combo that I want to have because you brought up Interstellar and like people having annoyances with that movie. I was one time on a blind date with somebody, and not a blind date. I guess it was a Tinder date, but like I didn't really know him, so it felt like a blind date.
It felt blind.
I walked in. I was like, I don't know this man. I don't even remember his name. But anyway, he was. We were trying so hard to find things that we had in common. He was giving very analytical, kind of cold. Think Mark Zuckerberg energy.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not like that. And so we were like trying to have a conversation. And I think he was I think he had to be. This is actually crazy. I had like I don't even know how to explain it. Moments with guys that all had to do had physics or like astrophysics majors. What is that about? So he was a physics major, and so which is way out of my depth. But I was like, oh my god, Interstellar! Like talking to him about Interstellar. This man told me, he said, I like that movie, but I just didn't care for the family elements. I just felt like you didn't need to have the family elements in Interstellar. I told him, I said, you can watch a space documentary. Like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? The heart and soul of the movie?
Right.
The thing that's actually giving it plot?
Driving, yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever.
It's like, oh my, yeah. Like, oh, so you didn't learn how to, like... critically analyze.
No.
Like,
you didn't cry at the end. You didn't cry during any of Murph's scenes.
Like,
you missed something really crucial, I fear.
Like the reason. Oh my. And I could talk about that movie forever. I'm getting mad for you, and this is like 5 years later.
Girl, he kept saying too a phrase. Every time I said something that he didn't agree with, he went, to each their own. And I to this day, oh my god, he was so mean. I to this day cannot say that phrase. If I hear that phrase, it triggers something in me. Upset. I'm like, this man ridiculed me. Genuinely made me feel so uncomfortable.
I wish I would have been in like the booth behind you, like secretly,
just over here.
And you would have texted me and said like, "Please get me out of this." And I would have loved to just do that. Say, "Oh yeah, weren't your friends there?"
Yeah. Do you remember this? Yeah. So
I kind of do.
I had my roommates. So that was my first Tinder date, by the way, and I was incredibly nervous because like I said, I did not know this man. And
definitely.
So I was like, guys, do you just want to maybe like, because we went to a coffee shop, I was like, do you just want to maybe like also be at the coffee shop somewhere in a booth,
right? And
like just so if I need to get out of this fast, we can go. And so they were. And Catherine's so funny because my roommate Catherine, she kind of overheard bits of the conversation, and like she was like giving me these like faces. She was like, yeah, like the whole time, and I was like, no. It's like, it's not going well. Anyway, and then I made her call me and say that Belly, my cat, threw up everywhere. I had to go home and clean it.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I'm so sorry, Tinder dude, but I really got to get out of this because you were being very mean to me. And then I was
Belly saved the day, though.
She really did. I was talking to my therapist, though, a few weeks later about it. And she was like, so how long did you stay for that date? And I was like, probably like an hour and a half. And she was like, when did you realize you wanted to go? And I said, maybe within the first 15 minutes. And she was like, so why'd you stay so long? And I said, well, because I wanted him to like me. She's like, you wanted somebody who you knew you'd never see again to like you. Well, when you put it like that, I mean,
I think the people pleasing was jumping out there.
And what's crazy is I should have been so mean to that man for making me feel so inferior. And like I was trying so hard to be so nice to him the entire time. And I was like, I gotta go. It was bad.
It's interesting, like what did he think was gonna come of like belittling your like ideas or your like opinions or whatever?
Yeah. Like, I fear.
Did he really think that was gonna lead to any like?
I fear any
sort of friendship or anything.
He was just probably a man who had operated in very male-based rooms and fields. Because I mean, he was a STEM major, and I mean, women obviously exist, but not as prominently. And so I fear he's just somebody who constantly had his opinions validated and didn't realize that he was actively hurting my feelings the entire time. So yeah,
you know what, in one of my math classes, so I took most of my math classes, oh my gosh, this chapsticks have literally got everywhere. I took most of them in like fall of 2020 and spring of 21 when everything was online. So I literally don't even remember who the guy was, but in one of my classes I remember the professor's like trying to teach and this guy is like saying something and he was like, so isn't this like this too because blah 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 blah. He's just like saying all this random stuff and I'm like, what is this guy getting at? And the professor was literally like, Yeah, I honestly just like don't know what you're talking about, so we're just gonna move on because it's just a waste of time.
Roast. Incredible.
Like, sometimes the guys would just like they would just like want to make a comment, it seems like, to just like prove that they knew what was going on and what was being talked about, but they would literally talk nonsense.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so behind, like, I don't know what's going on, like, what are they talking about? I missed this. Meanwhile, I was getting like A's on everything. So it's like, I did know what was going on. It wasn't all the guys. Some of them were cool and we did homework together and they were chill and awesome.
Yeah.
But some of them, I was like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah. So I was an English major. I don't know if I've mentioned that on the podcast before. I was an English major, and I also had a minor in women gender studies. And so I was very rarely in rooms with a lot of men. Women really dominated both of those majors. But the worst thing in the world to me personally, no offense to all of you guys in creative writing degrees out there, but is a man in a creative writing degree. Because, I mean, I'm generalizing hardcore right now, I'm very sorry, but like,
right.
The men that I came into contact with, there was nothing worse than getting assigned a man who's going to peer edit or make comments on your story, because the comments always nonsense, like genuinely always hurt my feelings. And then not only that, but like we had workshops a lot of times in my creative writing classes, and so that just means that, I mean, it's self-explanatory, but if you like, you write a story, everybody reads it, we go in to the classroom, right. You can't say a word, by the way, the entire time. People just kind of pick it apart and talk to you about it, and then at the very end you can say your, like, make your peace with everything. But it's a very scary situation. But these men would walk in. I had multiple men, by the way, tell me, like, they'll be like, haven't read the story yet, and they would be reading it while other people were making comments and just like raising their hands like willy-nilly as they've thought of things, like while they were reading it for the first time, not even having finished the story. It made me so angry. I was like, you guys do not care. It's so upsetting. Anyway.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes again, this isn't all the time, but guys that are in like a female dominated thing, they feel like such a novelty that they're like, well, I'm just so great. And it's like think about in dance, like if you have one guy in a dance company, well, obviously he's gonna get a lot of lead roles and stuff because he's the guy. And it's like, if you need a guy, that's the guy. Even just like in some of the shows I've done where there's like, even if it's an even amount of girls and guys, it's like some of the guys have had more opportunities than I have because they've been against less people.
Yeah.
And there was literally a guy in one of my shows that said like he was like, he's used to being like the token straight guy in the musical theater, and like he just had this vibe about him that was just, he just thought like every girl was gonna be in love with him.
Okay.
And I'm like, what?
Okay.
Huh? Just like so like such a weird thing to say. Like, he said that. We didn't say that. He said that he was the token straight guy in the musicals.
Little does he know that almost every girl in that theater production was gonna go for one of the gay men because they're so much less threatening and just probably a bit more talented than this token straight man.
I mean, he was fine, but like, it's just like so interesting. Like, though sometimes I feel like the women can't win. Like, if you're in the male dominated field, you're outnumbered.
Yeah.
But if you're in the female dominated field, then like the guys think that they have something up
superiority
on you.
Yeah, I know, that's so unfortunate.
We just can't win.
Which
is going to be a great topic when we talk about lessons in chemistry.
Yeah. No, truly, I feel like this is a very great place for people. If you're interested in this conversation, read Lessons in Chemistry and then come back for our September book club.
Definitely.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, do we want to wrap this one up, or
I guess,
do you have anything else to say?
By the way, I was going to tell you my little drink a little ASMR for the fans. It's an iced chai latte with oat milk that I've been getting from this place that's really close to my apartment. Oh, you saw my tweet.
It's a crepe place, right? Yeah.
It's the crepe place, but I've never gotten a crepe there. But Kelly and I went there when she was here, and I got an iced chai there for the first time. And I got an iced chai from, I don't like coffee, so this is like the one thing that I get. And I got one from this place that was around the corner, and it was not good. And this one, though, is so good. I've gotten it like 4 or 5 times.
Love.
And I'm not someone who usually like buys drinks from coffee shops because I don't like coffee, and I just like never want to spend the like $8 or whatever. I think this one's only like less than $6, so not so bad. But it's just truly so good. I need to just figure out, like, are they making their chai there, or are they just like buying it like in a concentrate bottle? Because if so, I need to figure out what it is and just buy it on my own, and it'll probably be way cheaper. But it's just so good.
Yeah. Well, that sounds nice. I don't really like chai, but I know that it's a very good substitute if you don't like coffee. I always wish I liked it,
so
though.
Yummy to me.
Yeah.
It's like so. I don't know. It's like not really cinnamony, but it's like warm. But even when it's an iced drink, it still like gives me like fall warmness.
Yeah. No, I think that's why I don't like it. It's also a reason why I have issues with so I will drink oat milk over dairy milk, trust, because it's better for the environment. But I have issues with alternative milk because it's like it always tastes warm to me. And I just don't I don't like it when I can feel like a drink that's not like piping hot, like hot coffee or hot chocolate or whatever. I don't like it when a drink is supposed to be cold but feels warm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm talking about warm in the sense of like spice wise, like
yeah. No.
Okay, that's what you mean
but
too.
it's like the flavor just is warm. Like it's never gonna feel like refreshing.
Oh, interesting. Because to me this tastes refreshing, so that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it just.
So do you like fruity, like more like?
Well, like a smoothie?
Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think like what's refreshing to you.
Just water or like iced coffee.
Water. So I left my water bottle at work on Friday, and I didn't want to go yesterday, and we're closed today, and I don't work Monday, but I think I'm gonna go get it tomorrow. But anyways, I've been drinking out of this bad boy, so I haven't been getting as much water.
Wait, what is it? Sorry, I couldn't see it.
Oh, let me show it to you.
Oh, it's just kind of like, is that like a mason? No, it's just a regular water cup.
But my cousin made this. Like, she has like a cricket or whatever. She put these little bees on here for me.
That's cute. Yeah. Yeah, so not a lot of water here.
But anyways, I'm like not getting as much water intake because this doesn't hold as much water, and I'm like not refilling it enough, you know? I mean, it's my own fault, but.
No, I know. It's just, that's why I love, well, I have this bad boy, but this is only 32 ounces. And then, like, my Stanley that I have over somewhere is like 40 ounces. And I love having that guy on me. I mean, I can never, like, sleep in my bed with it, like this one. Like, I cuddle this one.
Yeah, me and my 40-ounce Awala, we're tight.
Yeah, but, like, so, like, that Stanley, I love it because it's, like, it's always gonna be full. And especially, like, I have to, this is the laziest thing in the world, but I will say, I don't want to go down my stairs. Like, I live on the second floor. I don't want to go downstairs to fill it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So nice. The water bottle revolution.
True.
I'm going to tell you, though, I support the Stanley. But if you ever start doing that thing where you put, like, a fanny pack around it.
Would never.
And, like.
Would never. I fear.
You're so crazy.
I fear the Stanley Cup / even a Walla or a Hydro Flask or Yeti. As much as I love the concept of reusable water bottles, and I think it's super fun to have a bunch of different colors and a bunch of different designs and things come out, the overconsumption that people are doing with that, we don't need to be doing all this. Like, what are we doing?
It's the videos that say, like, pack my Awala for a walk. For a hot girl walk, and they're putting like a thing on top, and they're putting like snacks trail mix in it, and then like they're putting a fanny pack on it with their phone. I'm like, what? Girls, get a pocket.
Girls, It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
It's so funny to me. But I feel like those people don't actually even do that. I think they just make the videos because if they're getting likes and they're getting money from the video, then like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
It's like every single person currently on TikTok shop telling me I have high cortisol levels.
Like, oh my gosh,
you have to let it go. I'm not getting it. It's so fine. I take vitamins. Trust, we're fine.
Yeah, I know. They're always like, are you like feeling tired? And like the most generic symptoms, like you need this. I'm like,
girl.
Okay, I think everybody in the world needs that thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
everyone feels tired sometimes. I don't know.
literally can't.
Life's crazy.
TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe that's the end. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just sad because I don't want it to end.
I know.
I'm having so much fun talking, but we have been on for a hot second.
I know. We need to have a like a poll go out to our fans. Like, are you liking the length of the episodes?
Yeah.
Should they be shorter? Should they be longer?
I know.
Because it's like, we could go longer. Don't
trust. It'll be really hard.
We could do 2 hours easy.
Easy. But like, if people are like less than an hour, I would be like, rejected.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's not going to be possible.
Sorry. Unfortunately, we have to talk for an hour and a half at minimum. Yeah. I think too, I want to get people's opinions about book ideas for the future.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah, because it's like, so I think a lot of book clubs have like specific I don't know how to like genres or topics or like things that they do. So like, for example, I'm a part of a different book club at my local bookshop, and like, we read new romantic fiction, and so it's like, you know, everyone kind of has like a little, like a bunch of book clubs can have little things that they specialize in, and I feel like we're just kind of like picking at random, which I really like because I feel like I'm just working my way through my TBR. But I do want to make sure that like it doesn't feel completely random to other people, and I want to know what our audience is wanting and what we should be looking for. Especially like, I want to know, like, are you guys reading the books with us, or are you just listening to the episode if you've already read the book? Yeah.
Because if people are like wanting to read them with us within the same month, then like it could be cool to like have
them pick
input.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then it's like we're all kind of choosing together in a way.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I agree. I think we just need to get a bit of a larger audience, and then we could always
tell your friends to tune in.
Yeah, I mean, also guys, follow us on Instagram if you want. We're at Read the Last Page on Instagram, and then we have some people on Instagram, so we can always start a poll there if we want to in the future.
True.
But yeah, follow us on there, because that's really the only place that you're gonna find when we have new episodes that go up, other than if you're just checking our pages on YouTube or whatever podcast platform you're listening on.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that feels good.
Well, yeah. So everybody, thanks again for listening to Read the Last Page. Our music and illustrations were created by the wonderful Sage Timothy.
Yeah, if you don't know our schedule yet, we host a book club episode once a month. So this month, as we've mentioned, we're reading Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. So if you want to join us for a spoiler-filled discussion of that book, make sure you pick it up if you haven't already, and you can look out for that episode the first Wednesday of September.
Before we get to the last page, though, we want to say thanks for listening. You can find us on the podcast platform of your choice, or if you'd rather watch your podcast, you can always find us on YouTube at Read the Last Page. For now, we want to say bye from B
and Dan.
Bye.